Madison.com.
They better get season tickets right now because before long, they probably won't be able to.
It's all about the Badgers.
Don't flinch. The greatest coach in Wisconsin history is on the air.
It's over. The Wisconsin Badgers win 17-9. They are the first Big Ten team ever to win successive Rose Bowl games.
Live from Ruth's Steakhouse, this is the Barry Alvarez Show on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
What are your emotions right now? Just like the old days.
Alongside Rose Bowl champions Derek Engler and Tarek Saleh, here's Jesse Nelson.
Special Tuesday edition of the Barry Alvarez Show, live from Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton in Coach's Room. No better place for us to be for the Barry Alvarez Show on ESPN Madison and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. My name is Jesse Nelson, joined by Tarek Saleh. No Derek Engler in person with us at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse tonight, although he is scheduled to appear coming up a little bit later in the show. Had another commitment tonight for the kids, and we understand. He's taking in some youth football tonight, so looking forward to catching up with Derek in a little bit, getting his thoughts on all things Wisconsin football. And alongside Tarek, it is the man for which this show is named, the legendary head coach and director of athletics, Barry Alvarez. Guys, good evening. Thanks for making the adjustment to a Tuesday night with the Milwaukee Brewers playoff run bumping us last night.
We're rooting hard for the Brewers.
We sure are. I was there last night. Got home at 1:37 in the morning, pulled into the garage last night. So I might go with coffee today instead of any of our other favorite cocktails we like here.
What a win, though. They're up 2-0, right? 2-0.
They are up 2-0 on the Cubs, which we love. So hopefully they give us some more entertainment for a few more weeks here. Looking forward to a big playoff run.
No doubt.
For the Brewers and the Wisconsin Badgers. I tell you what, it was really fun. On Saturday afternoon, me and a few friends went out to one of the sports bars on the east side of Madison, and place was jam-packed full of people. Half the place was wearing their Cardinal and white, watching Wisconsin, which at the time around 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon, competitive game against the Michigan Wolverines at the Big House. And then the other half was wearing their blue and yellow, getting ready for the Brewers and Cubs first pitch just after 1 o'clock. For the overlap for about an hour, hour and a half at which both games were going on, it was just incredible.
Yeah, that's got to be fun.
Oh, fantastic atmosphere.
The irony of the blue and yellow, though, with Michigan.
That is kind of, I didn't even think of that until, I guess, blue.
I don't know what it was, but J.J. Watt had an interview, and he was wearing an M hat. And I'm texting everybody, like, what the hell are you wearing a Michigan hat for? And then it was like Milwaukee or
it was like an old Milwaukee Braves hat.
Something like that. So I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank God.
So
ready to turn on JJ.
Yeah, right. I was going to throw him under the bus.
We will save a lot of the Milwaukee Brewers conversation. That's been taking up much of our airwaves, rightfully so. Madison's home of the Brewers, 100.5 ESPN. I want to dive into the Wisconsin Badgers because I think there was kind of a mixed bag of things to take away from the Big House on Saturday afternoon. The big development before the game even kicked off was a quarterback change, which, at least I'll say for myself, I didn't see that coming on Saturday. I thought this was all either going to be Billy Edwards or Danny O'Neill deciding coming out of the bye who it was going to be, and then it ends up being Hunter Simmons, the transfer from Southern Illinois. Luke Fickell shares about 2 hours before the game. He's going to get the start at quarterback for Wisconsin that day. And he ends up having a decent day, 18 of 29, 177 yards. He did throw a pick, didn't throw a touchdown pass, but he managed the game relatively well, and the first drive was tremendous. Wisconsin had the ball first, 12 plays, 75 yards, ran the football effectively, 7 minutes, 7 points. They're leading in the Big House in the first quarter. You felt pretty good about what we saw. I thought they were listening to Coach, a lot of the message you've shared on how they could start to work that offense, run the ball effectively, control time of possession. So I thought there were a lot of positives to take, especially early on.
I agree with you. And the fact that the opening possession, they took it straight down the field, tells you they were not intimidated. A lot of schools go in there, a lot of teams go in there to play, and they're intimidated. Don't think they're going to win. They're playing a highly rated Michigan team on the road, big underdogs. I think we were probably 15-point dogs. Yet our guys went in there and competed. I like that. I like the way they competed. Yeah, you want to win. but they were not intimidated. The first drive showed me that.
And that really rang true through much of that first half then, that Michigan didn't have the fastest start, and that game stayed competitive well into the late stages of the third quarter and in the second half, Tarek.
Well, I was fired up. I'm glad they got another quarterback in the mix. You need that, obviously, with the way injuries go. And to bring Hunter Simmons in and for what he did, I thought it was awesome. And, that's what I really wanted to establish was the fight and the competitiveness, and you saw that. So that from that perspective, it was great. And you got to be available, right? And whoever that is going to run the show. And let's go and get back to the basics. And they did that. They did a really nice job, at least at the beginning.
And I wasn't sure, I was doing our pregame show on Saturday morning when we saw this announcement. I wasn't sure if this was gamesmanship from the head coach for 2 weeks with the bye, knowing, all right, let's kind of do something by surprise, take them by surprise with a different quarterback option they may not be preparing for, or if this was a matter of necessity where, all right, Danny O'Neal had gotten a little banged up at the end of the Maryland game.
You thought he might be injured.
Billy Edwards.
I thought he might be injured.
Yeah,
So then you had to go to Simmons, but that wasn't the case, right?
Right. So, Coach, I guess I want to ask you this because you're the person I've wanted to ask this since I saw this news on Saturday morning. What do we make of the decision and how it was announced, where it was a bit of a surprise for everybody on Saturday morning to see Hunter Simmons start at quarterback?
Well, obviously they made that decision a week earlier, at least a week earlier. You surely don't tell or make the announcement so that Michigan can prepare for another quarterback. They don't know what he can do. They don't know what his strengths are. They don't know what you're going to feature. And so that's just being smart and protecting your team. They have no obligation to give the starting lineup prior to, I think,
90 minutes or
90,
whatever it is.
whatever it is prior to kickoff. That's it. And so you don't want to give anybody a heads up that you're starting a new quarterback.
And that's so smart. And I, as a fan, right now, I'm more of a fan now that I'm removed so long from playing, because I get frustrated about like the injury updates. Mm-hmm. But there's no reason to give any updates on anything. Don't give anybody any advantage. This coach says we're looking for the edge. By giving away, showing your hand on injuries or on depth chart, you have to really comb through the internet to find the depth chart. And I don't really know who's playing until I look at, on the field. I try and look at the back of the jerseys of those offensive linemen. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting to see the center was the former tackle.
Yeah, the guy who struggled early out of the gates, the transfer from Central
but nobody
Michigan.
tipped that hand either. That was
right.
A surprise,
So that was a surprise on Sunday or Saturday morning as well. So there were a few changes.
You surely don't want your opponent to know you're starting a new quarter or a center.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because you can do a lot of things and there's a lot of pressure on a center. And the game starts with him getting the ball to the quarterback. He has a lot of line calls to make. So a lot of pressure on him. So you can do a lot of things defensively to create more problems for him. And by not announcing that, you don't have those things in your game plan.
And generally, I think the vibe for Badgers fans, at least until later in the second half, was that things looked better. It got a little stagnant offensively, but you saw ground and pound, emphasis on the running game. They were able to extend a few drives, and they stayed in the game. And, Coach, you preach that all the time on this show. Yeah. If you can run the football effectively, control some of the time of possession, even though Michigan may have higher star recruits and whatnot, they're in the game.
They may have a better team, which they're a highly ranked team. Mm-hmm. You like to think that. But this keeps you in the game. I made a living doing that. And it'll give you a chance, especially with a highly ranked team, heavily favored. If you can take that game in the fourth quarter, the pressure's on them. Now they're playing with more pressure than to just win the game.
And I think you could tell Michigan was starting to feel that pressure in the second half. Now, they did live up to the expectation, and then they ultimately went ahead by 3 scores, 24-7, in the fourth quarter. And then everyone, at least at the sports bar I was at, started watching the Brewers game, and the Badger game was kind of on the side. Now, let's talk about that fourth quarter a little bit. Wisconsin goes down the field with a few minutes left. They kick a field goal. It's 24-10. Michigan gets the football back. They decide they're going to take it down the field. They're running the football effectively, and ultimately they run out the clock. Wisconsin didn't use any of their timeouts, as Joel Klatt on the Fox broadcast was pointing out throughout the entirety of his commentary. Like, why isn't Luke Fickell calling any timeouts? I personally, just watching it and not hearing that commentary at the Sports Bar, I didn't have a problem with what Wisconsin did down the stretch there. Coach, what did you make of how that was managed?
You know what? Joel Klatt has to have something to say. And so, he chose to decide that they should stop the game, slow the game down now, rather than see if you can stop them, get the ball, and have your timeouts as you're moving the ball. And that's a coach's discretion. So I have no qualms of them saving those timeouts. What you wanted to do was stop Michigan's drive.
For sure. Now, and so I see, Wisconsin had a drive with 2 minutes and 43 seconds left. They were facing 4th and 20 after a sack. So they're down 24-7, 4th and 20, kick the field goal, take the points. You're down 2 scores at that point. Michigan gets the ball back with 2 minutes and 42 seconds left, and they're able to run out the clock. 2-minute warner, 2-minute timeout was in there, and then Wisconsin opted not to use the timeouts. It was only 6 plays, but ultimately that was enough for Michigan to run it out. Tarek, what'd you make of that?
Well, it's a tough situation. You could say it was maybe a mistake at worst, right? Where you would like to use the timeout. You were hoping for the stop, but time went by so fast you didn't get it in. You're going to take criticism for it. It's going to happen. Joel Klatt, it's Joel, right?
Joel Klatt, yeah.
He obviously made it. He amplified it. He kind of highlighted it, and so it's part of the business. What's important is that Coach Fickell has that relationship with the team to be able to, like, hey, listen, this was the strategy, this is where we're going. I know a lot of people want to get into, like, whether that's a microcosm of, playing to the echo of the whistle, so to speak. But he was trying to get the stop. He had the right intentions of going on, because if you got the ball back, you had an opportunity to win. So it might have been a mistake, but it's hard. This game's fast and furious, and the way the season's going, yet you're open for criticism. But he made the call, and I think there's a lot more good to take away from the game than bad, and so they're going to build on this. And if they could just harness the good, I think we got a chance to win this weekend, and build on that.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that Iowa game coming up as our show continues here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. It's the Barry Alvarez Show on ESPN Madison. Coach, independent of whether we're talking about Luke Fickell or Matt LaFleur with the Packers or any coach, I don't know if it matters who specifically we're talking about in this instance. If you're down 2 scores and you've got that allotment of timeouts remaining, would you in that spot choose to use them, or if you feel like the game is decided, do you move on?
That's a coin toss.
Based on what?
Based on whether you think you can stop them, whether you think your chances of moving the ball, the flow of the game. There are a number of things that come into play. I put myself in Luke's situation, and I know where he was coming from. And I can very easily see how he made that decision. I have no problem with the decision. It's easy to second-guess anything like that. He could have burned those timeouts, got the ball back, had no timeouts, and all of a sudden you're out of timeouts. People saying, what the hell? He burned a 3. He wasted them. It's his fault. So second-guessing is not the way to go on that. He had decisions to make. He decided what direction he wanted to go with it, and he was emphatic about it and did it.
You could second guess everything, right? This is what everyone does. I mean, even within the game, we ran the ball down their throats in the first drive, and then as they adjusted, they made it harder for us to run the ball. So we had to do other things that were a lot harder on a young quarterback that we weren't able to execute. But we're looking at the situations. The coach is looking at it and making the best decision based on what's going on, and something that, the armchair quarterback, this is the classic deal, right? Everybody thinks they know better. And, the reality is you try and do what you do with what you have, and they competed. and they played to the wire, and
that's why this is such a great game. People love this game because you have so many decisions. Every snap you have decisions. You run it, you throw it. Defensively, do you blitz or you play soft? And the fans have their opinions. And if you do opposite of them and it doesn't work, you're not very smart. That's part of the game. So if you make too many of those wrong decisions as a coach, you're not there very long. That's the way it works. That's the business. So making those decisions, that's what coaches do. And everyone is not going to agree with them.
I like the old expression, if you start listening to the fans long enough, you'll be sitting with them before you know it.
That's absolutely right.
right.
The Barry Alvarez Show from Ruth Chris Steakhouse in Middleton on ESPN Madison and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. We're going to bring Derek Engler into the conversation. He'll join us remotely to share his thoughts on Wisconsin, Michigan, and then we'll start to look ahead to homecoming under the lights on Saturday night at Camp Randall Stadium with the Iowa Hawkeyes coming to town. Going to be a fun night on Saturday night in downtown Madison. Derek Engler joins us next on the Barry Alvarez Show on ESPN Madison.
Don't touch that cocktail.
I'd love to coach a game like that.
Oh, man.
They may not see a pass in the second half. I'd run that clock. That game would be over. We'd be home having cocktails at 3:30.
Coach will be back after this on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Hey, it's John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. Come in and discover the high standards, classic traditions, honesty, integrity, and elegance when you walk through our doors. For over 90 years, customers have returned again and again to our warm boutique setting. Trust me, because I've been there for over 40 of them. Whether it's time to come back or your first time in, stop by Goodman's Jewelers at 220 State Street today. Goodman's Jewelers, the Diamond Store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 5 and 20%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. Visit amfam.com to learn more. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Metro Ford of Madison is Madison's trusted Ford dealership. Whether you're in the market for a new or new-to-you vehicle, Metro Ford of Madison has the customer service that's second to none. With a legacy of excellence and an extensive selection of quality Ford vehicles, it's the place to go for the new Ford of your dreams. Browse their inventory, schedule a service, or see this month's offers at MetroFordofMadison.com. That's MetroFordofMadison.com. Or visit them on the east side of Madison today.
Make the best seat in the house yours. Carbless delivers the handcrafted cocktail experience right to your living room. Bold flavor, no carbs, no sugar, just 100 calories, and all the taste with none of the extra baggage. From kickoff to the final play, Carbless is your game day go-to. Hosting friends, watching with family, or celebrating every big drive, Carbless keeps the good times pouring. So when the game's on the line, make the winning call. Skip the mixing, grab the bliss, and make every seat the best seat in the house. Find Carbless near you at drinkcarbless.com.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
It takes a team to meet just about any goal, and that's as true on the football field as it is in the office. So it's good to know that you have the Gordon Flesch Company on your side. For more than 60 years, GFC has provided cutting-edge office technology for companies of all sizes, and as the nation's largest Canon dealer, GFC delivers the latest office technology, serviced, and is supported by the most experienced professionals in the industry. That's business technology managed. Visit gflesh.com to learn more.
Hi, Dave from Canopy Wealth Management here. Our balanced approach helps guide you through a complex and ever-changing landscape. Throughout your family's financial planning journey, we will serve as a partner, advocate, and steward in all aspects to help you achieve your goals with confidence. At Canopy, care, competence, and clarity, it's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
Starion Bank redefines local banking in Madison. As a community bank with a commitment to Dane County, experience a banking relationship where your goals are our priority. Enjoy competitive deposit and loan rates and a partnership that thrives on local engagement and support. Starion Bank is more than a full-service financial institution. It's a community pillar dedicated to your prosperity. Visit one of our convenient branches in Middleton, Monona, or Sun Prairie. Starion Bank, offering banking, lending, mortgage, and cash management.
It's the Brewers versus the Cubs.
Line drive left center. That one's headed towards the gap and into the gap it goes.
Catch every I-94 playoff matchup right here on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's home of the Brewers.
The Barry Alvarez Show on ESPN Madison and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel from Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton in Coach's Room here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. I'm Jesse Nelson alongside the Rose Bowl champion Tarek Saleh, UW Athletic Hall of Famer, and of course the legend Barry Alvarez himself. And it's now our pleasure to bring in our regular co-host of this show. He's joining us remotely. The show moved to Tuesday night this week, and he had some family commitments, so we appreciate him taking any time to join us today, although I'll have an extra bite of steak or some of this ahi tuna that we got here on the table for him. Derek Engler joins us on the Barry Alvarez Show. Derek, how you doing?
Gents, I'm doing good here. It's, Tuesday night lights at Carl Anderson Athletic Field in Milton High School here. We got 7th grade Middleton and my son Dylan. And just as I picked up the phone, we started the third quarter and Milton scored on the first play. We still are up 16-6 here, and if they make this extra point, which for some reason counts for 2 at this level, it's 16-8. So that's where I'm at.
Does that cover the 8-point spread? Derek, is it covered?
I think we were dogs. Coming in this one. There's a former Badger O-lineman, actually, Ostrowski, that's coaching his son for Milton.
Portage.
So it's a fun. You got to love this age and watching this, and the kids are having a great time.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you know what? Jesse said that you had a family commitment. Football supersedes everything, right? It's not a family commitment. This is family life.
You have business.
This is the Bible.
Business.
This is Scripture.
Coach, when's the last time you went out and saw a 6th or 7th grade football game?
About a year ago.
Oh, really? Not that long?
I have a grandson playing down in Charleston, South Carolina. My son Chad's boy.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
I like to go down once during the season and watch him play.
And you offer many tips when they're out, second guessing any 4th down situation?
No, it's too complicated. Just let him play. The thing I ask him, did you have fun?
Yeah.
Did you have fun playing?
There you go.
When you finished the season, was it, did you have fun and was it a positive experience?
Well, great transition. Let me ask Derek. Derek, did you have fun watching Wisconsin and Michigan on Saturday afternoon at the Big House?
Well, I don't know if fun's the right word. I was optimistic because I felt, in particular on defense, that we were competing. And, we were scratching and clawing a little bit and, on the road against a top 20 team. Obviously offensively, we got to get that run game going because nothing else works offensively if we don't get that going. That being said, a third-string quarterback hooking up with Vinny Anthony for I don't know how many receptions, 100 yards receiving, whatever, that's great. That's positive. I think that's a Michigan team, though, that we can beat if we were able to run the ball, control the clock, move the sticks, in the typical way that we win ball games at Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's what you do on the road. If you can run the football, you can balance things out. You can, especially if you're an underdog, as we were in that game. Probably, I think more than a little over 2 touchdown.
Yeah, 16.5. I think is what I saw.
A little over 2 touchdown dog. So you try to shorten the game, and you stay in the game. You keep it close by running the football, and we did that for a while.
Dylan Jones, 17 carries, 63 yards, had the touchdown run on that first drive.
Yeah, that's, to me, those numbers aren't real impressive.
Well,
although that was on most of it on the first.
A lot of it was on the first
drive. Average yard per rush too.
3.7 was the average.
You want to get to the point where you can run it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care what they do, how many they put in the box. You're going to run that ball. You're going to cover guys up, and you're going to move the chains.
Hey, one call out on this deal. Special teams played a pretty clean game, I thought.
They did.
And Atticus Bertrams, who was here, his parents were in one of our shows
at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
Yep. And he had a hell of a game. And really, I think we won the field position battle. So I mean, we were right there.
We did a lot of good things.
Yeah.
We did a lot of things you can build off.
A lot of things we asked them, we wanted to see out of them. They did on Saturday.
Yep.
So,
and you feel like if you're playing a different opponent, like Iowa maybe this weekend with a banged-up quarterback or a backup quarterback, and then some of the other opponents that may still be on the schedule, there are things that you can for sure take from that Michigan game that you feel good about translating for the rest of this season. Derek, we talked here about how the end of the game transpired. What did you make of the decision not to use the timeouts down the stretch when Wisconsin was down 2 scores and Michigan had the ball running out the clock?
Well, I mean, this is not breaking or fake news. I mean, Joel Klatt, was very critical and baffled, quote unquote, by not using, when you have 3 and there's 2:40 on the clock, you got the 2-minute, timeout warning, to give your defense a chance to rally your troops. You had a 3rd down. I got to be honest with you, it's hard for me as a former player to understand that. I couldn't wrap, when I was watching it, I said, what are we doing? I mean, and you probably saw a lot on social media and the criticism and everything else, but I literally turned to my wife and I said, are we throwing the towel in? What are we doing here? Like, I don't like the message. And that's just me personally, but I know this. Anybody that played the game, coached the game, been around the game, understands that you fight till the end. And that bothered me, personally. So there might have been a strategy, obviously. I heard Coach Fickell's response. I understand that, maybe if we get a stop here, we got to give our offense some, because we're not taking it down the field offensively, of course, but I just felt like defensively, it's a message. When you look at it, it's the message, and I didn't agree with it.
That's pretty strong critique from Derek. Coach, what do you make of what Derek said there?
Well, I think the one thing you said, Derek, if you're struggling offensively, you look at it both ways. I had no problem with it. I know it's easy to criticize when it didn't happen, but your defense has to make a stop, not you stopping the clock.
Agreed.
Which we didn't do. We didn't do. And so put it on the defense, not on not calling timeouts.
Tarek, as our resident defensive player, what do you make a coach saying that there?
Yeah, I just say we were on the field too long or whatever. No, but
it's you wanted a timeout.
Yeah, what a timeout, take a breath. Yeah, give me.
You want a TV timeout?
Tarek would have been looking at Coach saying, "Please, timeout."
And but it would be just to get a breath. But I mean, hey, as long as you're square in the locker room, and like I said, there was a lot of things you took away from that game that you could build on. You just gotta, you just got to reconcile it, get better, take the good from the bad. And Coach Fickell does so much. Like, there was so much into that game. I think there was more good than bad. And if this is all based on timeouts, well, we got a paper tiger. We're not who we are. And I think by the way they
100%.
played, they were better than
100%, Tarek. I agree with you 100%. Let's just go to, hey, we need to run the football. I don't think 60-some yards is good enough. Not at Wisconsin.
No.
So we need to get back to what we do. You know what I mean? So then we don't. You know what the best defense is? Sitting your ass on the sideline. That's the best defense. So I look at our offense, number one. So it isn't about the timeouts. Absolutely not. Jesse, you asked me my personal opinion as a former player. That's just the way I felt watching the game. And many others did too. But at the same time, you got to look at the whole game and what we're doing. And I thought we competed, which is great because we obviously did not against Maryland. So you go on the road against a top 20 team and you compete. That brings some momentum into homecoming against another, obviously, rival in Iowa.
And that segues us into this weekend's game. Homecoming under the lights, 6 o'clock kickoff at Camp Randall Stadium. The Iowa Hawkeyes coming to town. Head coach Kirk Ferentz. Coach, you talk all the time about the comparisons between Wisconsin and Iowa and how this is a benchmark game and it's like you're playing yourself. I can hear the speech now that you share with us all the time. But this really does feel like it's a big chance for Wisconsin to prove itself in front of the home crowd after what we saw last time.
I was just in Iowa last week. I was back for the 1985 Big Ten Championship reunion. I went down Friday of our open date. I didn't stay for the game, but I wanted to go down and spend time to see former players and former coaches. It was fun. But they play a similar brand of football as we do. Toughness is going to be a factor here. The best lines probably are going to win. There's no place for the meek in a game like this. This game is going to be real bullets, and both lines are going to be getting after it. And the one that is strongest and they don't even have to dominate. The one that wins the line of scrimmage wins the game.
Even with a quarterback situation where it's questionable for Iowa whether Gronowski or any of the other options are going to go, he's battling an injury. They said they're working 3 different guys this week to see who's going to be starting.
That's why I said they're going to whoever runs the ball.
Yeah,
we're in the same boat. We're all in the same boat.
Where are we?
Yeah,
it's just
where are we?
This might be the most similar these teams have
We're
ever
flipping
been.
coins.
This is draw the line in the sand again. And we did some things last week where we may hopefully could start thinking we could win, instead of hoping. And we made some steps forward. So let's capitalize on that and take another step.
Derek, how are you feeling about Iowa this weekend?
Well, I think, Coach knows this. He said it. This is not for the meek. This game never has been. This is where you line up and you're going to be bloodied, bruised. This is the lines, the trenches are going to decide this game. And I really, really, truly hope that we take that mindset into this game and control the line of scrimmage because that's what's going to win the game.
Looking forward to Wisconsin and Iowa Saturday night at Camp Randall Stadium. Guys, we're going to dive a little further into this game as we come up on the other side of our break here.
I don't think you're up for it, man. You ain't tough enough. When we start talking about this, Jesse,
you get scared.
Jesse. Yeah. You might soil your pants. You might want to get diapers here.
Derek, I miss you, buddy. I wish you were here instead of Tarek this week.
I miss you guys, too.
I wish
we're in a barn burner here, Billy. Uh-oh, there goes Milton. Dylan's going to have to protect his lead at Q.
We got to cover. We got to cover, Derek. Damn it all, my mortgage is based off that.
Derek, enjoy the rest of the Tuesday night
lights. I miss you guys. Enjoy.
We'll see you next week. Derek Engler joining us from the big youth football barn burner where Tarek spent the mortgage on Middleton and Milton squaring off tonight.
I got him.
Hey, we should have just done the show
I'm
out
gonna
of
get in trouble for saying that, I bet. But anyways.
Well, you never know these days. That's true. Thanks to Derek Engler for joining us. He'll be back with us next Monday here on the Barry Alvarez Show at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. When you want a night out that really sizzles, you should head over here with us to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton, whether it's a special occasion, date night, or really just because you deserve it. Ruth Chris is serving up USDA prime steaks cooked to perfection. You pair that with world-class wines, handcrafted cocktails, and that warm, welcoming service from Lee or Tanner or Jen or any of the great staff members here at Ruth Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. Makes every visit unforgettable. Make tonight special at Ruth Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. More on Wisconsin, Iowa, and a couple of questions from Mark Tauscher and Jason Wilde for the head coach, Barry Alvarez. Straight ahead on the Barry Alvarez Show on ESPN Madison.
The Barry Alvarez Show continues after this on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
The GRB Academy is baseball for the serious player. GRB Academy wants to be part of your plan to reach your potential. Utilize GRB Academy's 52,000 square foot facility, 14 batting cages, and 6,000 square foot weight room. Personal lessons at the GRB Baseball Academy are available year-round. With over 300 college players and over 150 Division I players, GRB has consistently led the way in the Midwest for college recruitment and player development. Visit their website, grbacademy.com, for more information. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
Start your career where the road to success is paved in coffee. At Dunkin' Donuts, we're now hiring crew members and hourly shift leaders at our locally owned locations. Dunkin' offers flexible schedules, employee discounts, health and dental benefits, and paid time off. Plus, bolster your resume with our own leadership training program and even scholarship opportunities. Up to $1,500 per semester. Text Team Spirit to 85000 or visit teamtmart.com/careers to apply. Dunkin', America runs on you.
Bring your family out to the next Forward Madison FC game. Their family special, sponsored by Madison Gas and Electric, is the perfect budget-friendly option for any families to enjoy professional soccer in Madison. For just $21, get your game ticket, plus a meal and scarf. Get your family together and come cheer on the Mingos as they make their playoff push. Head to ForwardMadisonFC.com to learn more and get your tickets today. That's ForwardMadisonFC.com.
Ben Brust here to tell you about Bud Light's impactful initiative with Folds of Honor. This fall, Bud Light and Folds of Honor need your help to highlight the stories of those who gave their all in service of our country. If you know the family of a fallen or wounded veteran or first responder, then submit their story to be recognized by Kyle Brust and Nortman. Now through the week of Veterans Day, November 11th, submit the story of a service member for their family's chance to be featured on the air along with a Milwaukee basketball weekend experience. Text HONOR to 844-770-3776 and honor the families of those who've kept our family safe.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here. Football season is here, and I've got to tell you, Prize Picks has made every game more fun for me. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made simple. Just pick more or less on at least 2-player projections, like Josh Allen's passing yards or Saquon Barkley finding the end zone, and you're in the game. I love how quick and easy it is. I can set a lineup in less than a minute, and I even get the option to stack a single player across different stats. Want to play it safe? Go with Flex Play. Want the big payout? Try Power Play. And no matter how you play, Prize Picks makes it fun all season long. Withdrawals are fast and secure with Apple Pay, Venmo, and more. And that's why millions of fans, including myself, are already on America's #1 fantasy sports app. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use code WI to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WI for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 play. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Breaking news on ESPN Madison is presented by Metro Ford and Metro Kia of Madison. Find the Metro family of auto dealers online or see them in person on the east side of Madison today.
To help those who want to be helped but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, Visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
Hey, it's Isaac Miller, junior defensive end in high school. 14 Division I offers. Yep, 1-4. Wisconsin, Michigan, Florida, Miami, you name it. Everyone's asking, where's Isaac going? Well, I'll tell you this. It's going to be big, it's going to be loud, and it's going to be legendary. But first, I'm hitting the weight room in my Iron Jock gear. Because no matter what logo I wear next, Iron Jock is how I get there. Stay tuned and go to ironjock.com. That's ironjoc.com.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, a special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
What's new at Zimbrick Chevrolet? A lot. A free car wash with every service, plus a brand new detail facility to keep your ride looking fresh all year long. Relax with coffee and snacks while you wait, and if you can't, grab one of their numerous service loaners, take the shuttle, or even get a lift on them. Plus, Zimbrick Chevrolet has the largest new Chevrolet inventory in southern Wisconsin, and you'll never overpay at Zimbrick Chevrolet. Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie, the name you can trust.
It's the Brewers versus the Cubs.
And a fly ball to center. PCA's back at the track. Wall! Gone!
Catch every I-94 playoff matchup right here on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's home of the Brewers.
The Barry Alvarez Show at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton, 100.5 ESPN Madison, the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. By the way, for all of you that are joining us on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Just hit that subscribe button. You get notified every time we go live on YouTube, and then you make sure you get all your notifications for the best shows, live sports, and of course, exclusive videos as well. Some of the best of this show and any of your other favorite ESPN Wisconsin shows. Subscribe to the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. All right, so I want to have a little bit of fun here with you guys. So on Wilde and Tausch last week, I produced that show every weekday from 9 to noon. If you ask me, it's a very well-produced show.
Why would you say that?
Well, you know. So Mark Tausch, yeah, Riley was producing on Monday, so I guess that day was a well-produced show. Our producer Riley went back to the Everlight Solar Studio at ESPN Madison right now. Yep. So late last week, there was the anniversary of what Tausch said is the greatest regular season win in Wisconsin football history. And he gave me some homework. He said, I want you to ask Coach about this on the next Barry Alvarez show. So, Riley, if you have this clip, could you please share with us what Tausch and Jason debated last week on Wilde and Tausch?
I'm not going to be hyperbolic. I would make an argument that as we sit here right now, is the greatest win in the history of the Wisconsin football program. Tell me where I'm crazy. I'm crazy. Tell me where I'm crazy. It's Ohio State. It saved our season. It led us to be the only two-time defending champions of the Rose Bowl in the history of the Big Ten. Never happened. Doesn't happen without that dub. We win a natty. We can start. Then you can come at me.
So you really want to say that, like in the '93 year, when they win in Tokyo to go to the Rose Bowl, or they win the Rose Bowl,
the Tokyo game. All of these are part of the conversation. I'm telling you how I feel. Obviously, it's more personal to me. If you want to come at me with the Tokyo Bowl and the Rose Bowl where Bevel runs it in, I'm not going to tell you you're an idiot. If I said regular season, it's a no-brainer. Nobody's going to come at me.
So that's Tausch saying the best regular season win. He started by saying the best win ever was that game at Ohio State. I think he might have been a little biased because he was on the team.
Let me start off.
Yeah, Tarek, you go first here.
Obviously, I'm biased because I played against Michigan State, and we were in Tokyo.
In the Tokyo
and you're
game,
talking about traveling, 24 hours. You're talking about being there a week. You talk about the adversity that was going on, almost as bad as having you as the producer of the show. I mean, there's
you got to overcome
obstacles. A lot of obstacles.
Everyone has their challenges.
And being that we never won a Rose Bowl, never won one. Okay,
and been to many.
Haven't been to many. It was 30 years since our last Rose Bowl appearance that we didn't win, and then to get the opportunity to go to the Rose Bowl, we burned the ships, Coach. Right? It was a huge win, and there was a lot of odds against us. They had a lot of NFL players on that Michigan State team, and I think it was the greatest win because it was going to be the first Rose Bowl in a long time.
So Tarek advocates for his game in Tokyo. Tausch advocates for his game in Columbus. Well, we need someone who was part of both, and for that I go to the coach.
I will not weigh in on which is the most important. They're both the most important to me. They were huge games. They're special games. They're games that any true Wisconsin fan marks down as special. I certainly do, and so there's no way. It's like picking who is your favorite kid.
Well,
if
you ask Steve the Homer Chew or some others on our team, you could say they could probably pick who their favorite kid is.
Well, I can't, and I won't, because those are both special. They're both key to the success that we've had with the program here. And both very special.
So let's start by talking about the Tokyo game, because going overseas and what that meant for the program, being able to get to the Rose Bowl, all the things Tarek just said. Did you weigh that at the time? Did it feel like that was that monumental of a game going into it, that it could change the trajectory of the football program?
Not when we scheduled that. I can remember they were having a game in Tokyo every year, and I remember them coming to me and me going to George Perlis and see it was our home game, and Pat was good enough to – I said, Pat, I just felt like it would be a tremendous experience for our athletes. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't have that – I spend a week in Tokyo and have tours and be able to see and do – what that team was able to do. It's better than any bowl game that you could ever go to. We have an opportunity to do that. It costs us nothing. And Pat was good enough to do it because we're giving up home gate. Mm-hmm. So it does cost us something. And so that really holds a special place in my heart.
So then go ahead.
But Coach, elaborate, because we always – got to get the edge. We got to figure out a strategy, and Coach's most iconic, probably strategy to be able to prepare us. I've never been more prepared for a game in my life than what you did in Tokyo playing against Michigan.
They had no chance. I studied. I called NASA and studied. So I had read. I was on a flight one time, and I was reading how they turn astronauts' body clocks back and how you can train to do that. So I called, and I had a whole formula for our team to turn our body clocks back 12 hours. So when we got to Tokyo, we'd be on Tokyo time instead of waiting 5 or 6 days to get your body acclimated to the time. And our guys bought into it. I had them say they wore sunglasses during parts of the day. They stayed up later every night, 2 more hours later. They wore sunglasses 2 more hours longer during the day. I wouldn't allow them to sleep as we flew to Tokyo. The Michigan State guys are laying all over the plane, snoring, sleeping. My guy, I wouldn't let them sleep. I said, when we get there, we'll go to sleep. We'll go to the hotel. We'll check in. We'll go to sleep. We wake up, we'll be right on Tokyo time. Michigan State's going to be 3 days behind us. And which,
I can echo that because, we listened to everything Coach said, and then there was a double-decker, 357 MAX, plane that we were taking out there. We were in the upper level. They were in the lower level. So a couple of us ran down during the flight to see what they were doing. Everybody's sleeping. And we report back to the team like, dude, they're all out, and we were like, that we won the game.
We won
the game halfway over the Pacific. We kicked their ass. It was tremendous. And then I got to tell you though, to get to the hotel and stay awake because we competed to stay awake because we're up 24 hours. And like on the bus, you're just like slapping yourself. We're like, we got to.
But we actually started here. Stay up 2 hours later, go to bed.
We had practice early in the morning.
Yeah, we did it. We started your body clock here in Madison, then carried it over there, so it would be an easier adjustment.
I've heard that story via Tarek and Derek so many times, and to hear it now straight from you, that is incredible.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. That's amazing.
We stayed in the hotel for like 5 days, right? We had the same meal. At everything. It was eggs and like sausage. Then it was a hot dog. And then it was like chicken tenders or fried. We ate the same gringo food the whole time.
Because the food that they had, their food, because I did enough research. I talked to some of the teams that played there. And what they were serving was not edible. And our players wouldn't eat it. Those other teams that had gone there wouldn't eat it. So I ordered what they'd get us. If it was sausage, eggs, and whatever, and we got some steak somehow, finagled some steak someplace to feed them steak a few nights for dinner.
And Coach, remember we had a banquet. We had a banquet with Michigan State, and they had everybody there. By the way, everybody had been told. All the Japanese fans had been told who to root for and where to sit and all this stuff. And we go into this deal with all these Japanese people, and Coach Perlis gets up in the deal, and he just goes, he's probably had a couple bourbons.
He's had a few sauce. He's
red
as a sauce already.
He's red as an apple.
He is. He wasn't worried about his body clock.
and he goes, well, we don't give a crap. He
says, because all the talk there was if we win, we're going to the Rose Bowl. He gets up and he said something really sarcastic to start with. And he says, and you know what? I know if Wisconsin wins, they go to the Rose Bowl, and I really don't give a crap. And he didn't say crap.
Yeah.
And everybody, the crowd, all the Asian people in the crowd go, whoa. You can just hear that in the crowd. Oh, the eyes are big. Everybody's up there making eye contact. Whoa. I'm thinking, oh, boy, we got George now.
Over the crowd.
He's been in the sauce all day.
That's all you needed, Coach. Cause you're looking for an edge. And he's just like, you hear what he said? He doesn't.
Yeah.
And that just got us. I mean, we burned the ships. We weren't coming back home.
No.
We wouldn't be having the show right now because he wouldn't let me back to the States. I'd be running. I'd be running some boats in Japan or something right now if we didn't win that game. So
that is so good. The Barry Alvarez Show from Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton here on ESPN Madison, the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. So before we go, we started with Brewers, and we had Brian Anderson, who is the TV play-by-play voice of the Milwaukee Brewers. He also does the MLB on TBS. He's doing the Dodgers-Phillies series right now. He'll be doing the NLCS if the Brewers are fortunate enough to get there with a 2-game lead on the Cubs. He joined Wilde and Tausch last week, and when Brian Anderson said something about how the Brewers are viewed right now as the team with the best record in baseball, I immediately thought of you, Coach. Here's what Brian Anderson said with us on Wilde and Tausch.
The Brewers are going to be underdogs no matter who they play for the rest of the postseason. It doesn't matter, even though they have the best record. And I hope the Brewers are hearing all this. I know they are. But basically the phrase is, this is the worst team to have the best record in baseball history. And I love that.
Craig James came to mind when I heard that, Coach. And
that's exactly what came to my mind.
Yep. So we've talked about that story plenty of times with going to the Rose Bowl.
I'm rooting hard for the Brewers. Murph is a friend of mine. We coached together. His office was right next to mine in South Bend. He was at Notre Dame when I was at Notre Dame. Great coach, and I'm rooting hard for him.
That's awesome. So did you guys, what kind of interactions did you have when you were
good we talked all the time. He used to love when Lou would come down and questioned what the defense was going to do, and how many points can they score against us, Coach? I don't know. How many times will you fumble? How many times will you turn it over? How many can you score? I'd turn it back on him, and Lou and I had a great relationship, and Murph always got a kick out of that, and we've always stayed close. I didn't get a chance to get up this year, but normally I go up, and then my son Chad went to his baseball camp every year. Chad was short and chubby when he was in South Bend, 10 years old. He'd go to the camp, and Murph called him Balboni. The left hand, remember that heavy set? Fat left-hander.
Steve Balboni.
Yeah.
He played for the Yankees. So I watched him growing up.
Murph called my son Chad Balboni.
So he hasn't changed much at all that time now as the manager of the Brewers. Did you ever think when you knew him then that he could manage a major league team and have as much success as the Brewers have had this year?
People ask me about Murph. I say Murph coaches baseball like he would like football coaches coach. He easily transitioned right into be a football coach. I can't say that to all baseball coaches or all baseball coaches.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, he can get after guys. He's a pit bull. And he's going to call spade a spade. He's going to get after his guys when they need to. He's going to pat them on the back. But I think he's much more aggressive than most baseball coaches, my opinion. I haven't seen all the baseball coaches. I played baseball. I love baseball. It's my best sport for a long time, as a matter of fact. And but I think he's special, and he coaches a little different than the other guys.
I think we've seen that in the last couple of years for the Milwaukee Brewers since he took over when Craig Counsell left for the Cubs. So we're excited for the Brewers. Of course, you can listen to every game through the playoff run right here on Madison's home of the Brewers.
We have one more hour.
100.5. Right? We don't know. That's it, Tarek. Yeah, we're back on Monday next week, Monday from 6 to 7. If the Brewers are playing in the NLCS, which there is a game scheduled on Monday night, we will still do our show live here at Ruth Chris Steakhouse from 6 to 7, and we'll be on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel, and then you can stay tuned. Programming decisions will be made for when that show will replay on the radio next week. So stick around. We'll see how it all goes.
You did great.
Thank you, Tarek. You did too.
We talked about Iowa.
And I didn't get intimidated one bit about Iowa coming up this weekend. Yeah, there it is. We'll see.
Get scared.
I don't like that. That's
you didn't soil your pants or anything.
No, not yet.
We're ready to
We'll
go.
see how it goes. Wisconsin, Iowa, Saturday night at Camp Randall Stadium, homecoming. They're honoring Monte Ball. Going to be an awesome night. We'll talk plenty about it next week when Derek Engler returns with us as well. For Tarek, Saleh, and the coach Barry Alvarez, I'm Jesse Delson. Thanks so much for joining us at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton for the Barry Alvarez Show on ESPN Madison.
You're listening to the Barry Alvarez Show on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Greg Scalzi here for Total Athlete Performance. They're here to provide elite performance training